To better understand how our bodies function, we need to understand how we convert sugars into energy. Our cells do this through a process called cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is the process by which all living things take the energy stored in food and convert it to energy that can be used. Like photosynthesis, it's a complicated process. Photosynthesis and cellular respiration are probably the two most difficult things we cover in this class. If you look at the inputs and outputs of cellular respiration, you may notice that in some ways it's a reverse of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, plants used water and carbon dioxide, plus some energy, to create sugars. They then released some oxygen as a byproduct. In cellular respiration, cells are using sugar and oxygen to generate ATP, and they give off carbon dioxide and water as byproducts. This is happening in cells throughout your body. As food is digested in the digestive system, those nutrients get passed to the circulatory system, which delivers them to cells. Those cells then need to undergo cellular respiration to release the energy stored in those nutrients and convert it to ATP, which they can use to do work. So again, we need two basic things for cellular respiration: oxygen and sugar. This is why we need a steady supply of oxygen to our bodies, and why we feel tired if our sugar levels are low. After cellular respiration is complete, we have converted the energy in the food to ATP, which is in a form the cells can use. We also have two byproducts produced: carbon dioxide and water. This is where the carbon dioxide we exhale comes from. Cellular respiration has 3 steps. We'll go through each of these in detail. The first step has 2 parts. First, we have glycolysis, where glucose, or sugar, is broken down into pyruvate molecules. This happens in the cytosol of the cell. If you remember, the cytosol is the fluid inside the cell. So glycolysis is happening in the cytosol of cells throughout your body. You can remember what's happening in this step by understanding what the word glycolysis means. Lysis means splitting, and glycol means sugar. So you can think of glycolysis as the splitting of sugar molecules. Again, it's the breakdown of glucose into 2 pyruvate molecules, and we produce a little bit of ATP doing so. Glycolysis occurs in 2 phases. First is the preparatory phase. Of course, we are ultimately trying to make ATP. But to break down these sugars, we also have to use a little bit of ATP. Some energy from ATP is used to destabilize the glucose so it can be broken down. Then we have the payoff phase of glycolysis. That destabilized glucose is broken into 2 pyruvate molecules, and we produce more ATP than we used to break that glucose apart. We also produce a couple other things. Remember that water is one of the byproducts of cellular respiration. When glucose is broken into pyruvates, we also produce and release some water. We also produce a molecule called NADH. But we're not done with the first step yet. We still have to produce a molecule called acetylcholine A. The pyruvates produced in glycolysis move to the mitochondria of the cell. Remember that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's where most of the ATP is being produced to power cellular work. So it makes sense that we need to migrate over to the mitochondria to continue this process. In the mitochondria, the pyruvates are broken down and combined with an enzyme to produce acetylcholine A. During this process, some carbon dioxide is also produced and released as a byproduct.